Good morning, Unity.
Good morning, Jim.
Welcome, everyone. Please feel free to sing along with this. You probably know it. It's from The Lion King. The day we arrived on the planet and blinking stepped into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. Some say eat or be eaten, some say live and let live, but all are agreed as they join the stampede. You should never take more than you give. It's a circle of life, and it moves us all. Despair and hope, faith and love, till we find our way on the path unwinding. Oh, in the circle of life.
Fall by the wayside, and some of us soar to the stars, and some of us sail with our troubles, and some have to live with the scars. There's far too much to take in here, more to find that can never be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and tall on the endless round. Circle of life, he's the wheel of fortune. It's the leap of faith, it's the band of hope. Till we find our place on the path unwinding, and the circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune, it's the leap of faith, it's the band of hope, till we find our place on the path unwinding, and the circle of life, on the path circle of life, circle of life.
Wow, so beautiful. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Gaithersburg. My name is Reverend Cheryl Myers, and it is such a joy to be here this morning. And that song reminds me, of the beauty and wonder of musical theater. And I just wanted to share with you that for those of you that are familiar with Jesus Christ Superstar, that was live on TV, our Lorna's son, Brandon Victor Dixon, has been nominated for an Emmy. It seems that I think the production has gotten over 13 nods. So let's just hold Brandon. We just love our Brandon and the whole production in our hearts because it was such a gift, wasn't it? Did you see it? It was such a gift, yeah. So, all right. So we just breathe into the joys of spiritual community. We get to share our joys with each other, don't we? So we welcome everyone who are tuning in via YouTube live stream. Good morning to you. So everyone, let's just take a deep breath. And if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes. Yeah. And so as we close our eyes and we take a deep breath, we're just letting our body know, our mind know that we're here. And we're setting an intention to open our hearts and to be blessed by spiritual community this morning. Through the music, hopefully through the message, through every interaction that you have this morning, every handshake, every hug. We celebrate spiritual community this morning and how sweet it is to come together in unity. So we just breathe into that sweetness in our hearts, feeling the gratitude overflowing. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is a gift. And so it is. Amen. Amen. So if you are with us this morning for the very first time, you will raise your hand just really nice and tall, and if you'll keep it raised, the greeters and ushers will come and give you a welcome packet. There's a couple folks right back here in the back. Lauren? Okay, yeah. Pam, right back there in the back. Yeah. Okay, there you go. There we go. All right. Everybody's been reached. That's so great. Thank you for being here. We're so glad to have you. Welcome home. So let's stand and sing a song together. Offer a handshake and ask for a hug. way back to your seats. Love is my
source. Love is my power. Love is everything I am. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love is everything I am. Love is everything I am. Love is everything I am.
Please be seated.
Good morning. Good morning. That'll wake us up. Good morning. I'm Jane McCarthy, and I'm here this week to share with you our transformational opportunities. These are detailed in our newsletter, and if you'd like to receive our newsletter, just leave your email with us in the back. Now, if you would take a moment to silence your phone, so none of us will, so you won't be embarrassed when it rings, okay? Thank you. So, please, here are some things that we're up to here. Come check out our free outdoor sunset yoga class. And we're having this on Wednesdays through July 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. here on our campus. And in case of rain or heat, we'll have our classes in here in the sanctuary. So bring your family and friends, and along with your own yoga mat, please. And love offerings are welcome. Today, after our service this morning, there will be an informational meeting and fellowship time. You will hear from the board about upcoming bylaw changes regarding membership at Unity of Gaithersburg. Our past bylaws have been updated, and we want to share these changes with you. Also, Unity of Gaithersburg is participating in a community food and school supply drive to benefit Gaithersburg Middle School. Many students at that school rely solely on school meals, so during the summer, this resource is lost. And school supplies are also in demand. Thanks to Carol Douglas and Carol Johnson, we have been provided a list of food and supplies needed at this school. So the copies of the list and the donations are located in the lobby out there. Let's do our part to make sure these youth and their families have what they need to thrive. So next, when I first read this, I thought it said it's a wedding party, but it didn't say that. It says it's a weeding party. Okay. I wondered if, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how I could connect those two, so I won't even try. So let's weed our campus flower beds and manicured areas so that their beauty can fully shine through. So join us this Saturday, early in the morning, 8 till about 9:30, July 21st, to beat the heat. We'll weed and then head out to breakfast together. So also bring your gardening gloves. You can sign up in the back to join the team. So Unity of Gaithersburg will be offering a Holding the Light Sacred Circle, which will gather on Wednesday, August 15th from 7:15 to 8:45. Could you use some support in holding what's true in these interesting times? Would you like to gather with like-minded souls to hold the light for ourselves, each other, and the world? Join us for a time of sharing, meditation, and prayer, and this will be led by our Reverend Cheryl. Let's hold what's true together, and love offerings are welcome. So now, if you would please center yourselves as we reflect on the daily word. The focus of our daily word is expansiveness, and our affirmation, I expand my vision to see unlimited possibilities. I see beyond the parameters I've accepted in the past and behold a world of unlimited possibilities. As my vision expands, I create space for infinite abundance to be my experience of life. Intellectually, I understand that my nature is limitless. As I heighten my awareness and turn within for wisdom, I expand my knowing of what I am. I deepen my acceptance of my divinity. I embrace the unbounded nature of life and realize greater clarity of purpose. I discover new ways to contribute my gifts and talents that bless the world. I stay open and receptive as I journey along my path and continue to hold an expanded vision for my life. From this expansiveness, I allow unlimited possibilities to express. And from Genesis chapter 13, verse 14 and 15, raise your eyes now and look from the place where you are. And now let us prepare for our meditation by singing All Is Well.
As I close my eyes and the world disappears, I can feel my breath rise and fall. There's a light inside that dispels all my fears, and I hear a gentle voice calling. All is well, 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 all is well.
So in this present moment, we take a deep breath. Once again, informing the body that we are here in this moment, preparing to move into a time of stillness, preparing to shift our focus from the outer to the inner. So let's just begin to follow the movement of the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. The breath, the life-sustaining energy that we forget in each moment because it's so automatic for us to breathe. But in truth, our breath is abundance expressing in our life, the infinite life energy that sustains us, breathes us. There is so much abundance in our life that we possibly take for granted each and every day. So in this moment of stillness, I invite you to reflect on the abundance in your life. the beauty of nature that maybe we drive by every day. But when we stop to look at the magnificent trees, the flowers, the beautiful sky, that is abundance in our lives. And as we are in this beautiful space, we breathe in the energy of vitality and joy of spiritual community on this beautiful campus, in this beautiful sanctuary. That is abundance in our lives. All the people here in service, all the people that serve us at the grocery store or the bank or our dry cleaners, the people that repair the roads so that we can drive on them, the teachers that teach our children. That's abundance in our lives. The people that we love in our lives, whether it's a spouse, children, dear friends, people that have mentored us, people that who have seen us and called out our greatness. That's abundance in our lives. There is a banquet table that is our lives, that is overflowing with abundance. Are we pulling up our chair? Are we seeing it? Are we grateful for it? So I just invite you in this time of stillness to just allow the gratitude that you have for the abundance in your life just to bubble forth. And as we move now into a time of silence, I invite you to continue to reflect on the abundance in your life and to feel the gratitude in your heart for it all in the silence. How grateful we are for the abundance in our lives. And so let us take a deep breath into our grateful hearts and declare in this moment that we will open our eyes to see more fully all the abundance there is to be grateful for in our lives each and every day. And for the infinite abundance that always is present. We are so grateful, and so it is. Amen.
knowing all is well. All is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. I move through my day, feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing all is well. All is well.
I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. This is a place. This is the time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world, in this world. I see the joy, I see the joy in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm living love every day.
Living love every day.
I'm living love every day.
I'm living love every day.
I'm living love every day.
Living love every day.
Spreading peace along the way.
Spreading peace along the way.
Right time.
Right time.
Right place.
Right place.
Living love every day. I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
This is the place.
This is the place.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
I am a light.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
In this world.
I am a light. I am a light. In this world. In this world.
In this world.
This is the place.
This is the place.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We'll claim that affirmation, won't we? Thank you, music team. Well, there was a very wealthy man who was almost 100 years old, and he was desperately ill, and he summons to his bedside his three closest advisors: his doctor, his priest, and his lawyer. No, they didn't walk into a bar. I know, he says, they say you can't take it with you, but who knows? So suppose they're mistaken. I'd like to have something with me just in case. So I am giving each one of you an envelope containing $100,000. And I would be grateful if at my funeral you would put the envelopes in my coffin so that if it turns out that it's useful, I'll have something. And they each agree to carry out his wish. So sure enough, After just a few weeks, the older gentleman passes away, and at his funeral, each of his 3 advisors is seen slipping something into the coffin. So after the burial, as the 3 are walking away together, the doctor turns to the other 2 and says, "Friends, I have a confession to make. As you know, at the hospital, we are desperate because of the cutbacks to funding, and our CAT scan machine broke, and we haven't been able to get a new one. So I took $20,000 of our friend's money for a new CAT scan and put the rest in the coffin as he asked." Well, at this, the priest says, "I too have a confession to make. As you know, our church is simply overwhelmed by its maintenance and repair problems. The needs have increasing, and we have nowhere to turn. So I took $50,000 from the envelope for our repair fund and put the rest in the coffin as our friend requested." So fixing the other 2 in his gaze, the lawyer says, "I am astonished and deeply disappointed that you would treat so casually our solemn understanding with our friend. I want you to know that I placed in his coffin my personal check for the full $100,000. There you go. So I think you get today's theme. And we are continuing our 5-week series called Jesus in July. I'm having a great time exploring the teachings of Jesus. Because remember, we've made that distinction, the teachings of Jesus instead of the teachings about Jesus. We're really wanting to delve into his teachings through his parables. So today, it's the parable of the talents. And it's found in both Matthew and Luke, and I have taken it from Matthew 25. So here we go. So from Matthew 25, "For a man going on a journey summoned his servants and entrusted his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. The one who had received the 5 talents went off at once and traded with them and made 5 more talents. In the same way, the one who had the 2 talents made 2 more talents. But the one who had received the 1 talent went off and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. Then the one who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 more talents, saying, 'Master, you handed over to me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more talents.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master.' And the one with the 2 talents also came forward, saying, 'Master, you handed over to me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more talents.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master.' Then the one who had received the 1 talent also came forward, saying, 'Master, I knew that you were a harsh man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours.' But his master replied, 'You wicked and lazy servant. You knew, did you, that I reap where I did not sow and gather where I did not scatter? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to the one with the 10 talents. For to all those who have, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away.'" Okay. You ready to dive in? Okay. All right. So in New Testament times, a talent was the largest unit of currency at the time. So some scholars estimate that if you possessed 5 talents of gold or silver, you would be a millionaire by today's standards. So let's check in with some fundamental reminders before we dive in. Okay? All right. So we've covered, over the last 2 weeks, we covered the parable of the sower, and we talked about the prime directive the first Sunday. So in each of those stories, as foundation, we explored what is true. All right, do you remember what is true? This is quiz time. Okay, there's one power. And so since we're talking about abundance, often we will hear the word source. And often we will say, God is my source. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to kind of throw a little spin on that, because when we say that, often what we will do is we will think there is a God outside of us that plays almost like the role of Santa Claus that gives us everything that we need. And I know that's embedded theology for me from my Baptist days. And so as we dig a little bit deeper, what if our source was our knowing? Our source is our knowing of what's true. And we're going to talk about why that is. So, all right, so there's one power. There's one infinite field of possibility, of love, of peace, of joy. And that infinite power is infinite abundance. It's what we are. And remember, the kingdom of God is within you. That's the prime directive. And the kingdom of the absolute. God is the absolute, right? Are you with me? Okay, all right. So, infinite abundance is. Now, regardless of what might be showing up in our world, experiences of lack, there is an inherent abundance everywhere. Okay? That's what's true. So, and our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our consciousness create our experience of how we see life. So that's our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our knowing. So wherever we are in consciousness is how we will see and perceive our abundance. All right? Again, you with me? Okay. All right, so back to the story. So each of the servants were given this certain amount of talents according to their ability, according to their consciousness, according to their level of understanding of what they could do with the money and what was possible. All right? And notice the master didn't tell them what to do. He didn't give them any instructions. What it says is he entrusted them with his property. In other words, with his property, he put that property into their care. He gave them responsibility to create what was given to them. And so the first 2 servants went out with the 5 talents and the 2 talents, and they created 100% return. But the third fella, in being given responsibility, went to fear and blamed what he did on the consciousness of the master. You harsh man, you didn't reap where you sowed. See, I was afraid and I hid your talent in the ground. I think that's fantastic. Because how many of us can relate to go into a place of fear or blame regarding our level of prosperity or our level of abundance? How many of us get afraid about the stock market or the current political climate or our job, our bosses are putting our job in peril? We're blaming for what we do or don't have? we are allowing the outer world to determine how abundant we feel, how abundant we are, and what we deserve. So back to the story. And the master said, well, if you think what you thought of me, then you didn't have to do something with my money. You could have just taken it to the bank, and it could have gotten some interest. See, the third guy didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't do anything, really. He buried it in the ground. So it related to an article my friend Gail sent me this week. My friend Gail is also on this journey of awakening, and we often will exchange books and articles and that kind of thing. And she sent me an article that addressed this whole idea of what we want. Because, in prosperity classes, we talk a lot about, what do you want? What do you want? You have to be clear what you want. And this author of this article said, yeah, you need to know what you want. But his question was, what pain are you willing to sustain? Now, I don't like that wording so much, because I don't like to affirm pain. But I do see his point. So I changed it to, what am I willing to persevere to have what I say I want? The reality has struck me as I've sat in my meditation chair with my cup of coffee that I am not going to get in fitness shape sitting in my recliner. It's just not going to work. I say I want to be in shape. I want to, as I get older, I want to get stronger, and I want to, be able to lift things that I used to lift when I was, 30 or whatever. It's just not happening. And so Edie and I were talking about this during the week because, Edie is teaching her class on conscious creation, and we often talk about, the Joe Dispenza work. And the one common denominator in prosperity, folks, is that, and in the Joe Dispenza work, is we can tell our story, like this third guy was just all about his story, right? Want. I'm going to blame you and your consciousness, master, for what I did or didn't do. Okay, but as long as we stay in our story and we don't do anything differently, how do we expect to have something different? Folks, we got to do our work. That's what Jesus is saying to me. And remember, these parables are coming through my filters and my consciousness. But Edie and I were talking about it this week because, she goes to these conferences with Joe Dispenza folks, and there are people that have been working this Joe Dispenza work for 3, 4, 5, 6, a decade. And they're just now kind of having their breakthrough in their healing or their, whatever it is. And see, I think what happens is we think we're going to always have instant results. That's why I'm not a big fan of The Secret. I keep picturing that woman that looked at that necklace and she thought about it. And the next thing you see is she's wearing it on her neck. That's magical thinking. And I'm not saying that some of you don't always get your parking spot. I know you do. But folks, really, I think this parable, and Jesus, remember the verse? He said, for those who have more will be given. That's the verse from the last parable that got the bad press, right? Because we think that's just terrible. How can those that have more always get more? And how come those that have less? In this particular context, what he's trying to teach is that life is consciousness. Okay? And so, we can relate it to what's happening in our world. Folks, we're able to come in here in an air-conditioned building. I'm going to assert that all of us have a roof over our head, and we know these teachings, and there are those people in our world that don't have those opportunities. What is ours to do, to support them and their life being extraordinary? So not only do we get to have our lives be extraordinary, we get to also be in service. to give from our bounty. So I think this third servant really had a lesson for us, that we get to get out of our story of whatever it is that has us not be extraordinary. And so I'm just going to invite you this week to tune in to what story are you telling yourself that justifies you not having the life you really want to have. And maybe you're having, I'm sure many of you are having an extraordinary life. Please don't hear that anything's wrong. But what I'm inviting us to do, which I think Jesus is inviting us to do, is to check in with our level of consciousness. And if we say we want something and we don't have it, what's the story we're telling about it? And are we willing to be in different actions to have it happen? I've got to get out of my meditation chair and go move. Right? Yeah. It's just an opportunity for us to one more time just check in with our consciousness, where we are, and what is it we say we want, and what is it that we're really willing to persevere. Because I got to tell you, I don't exactly relish, running on a treadmill that much. I can think of a lot of other things I might want to do. But on the other side of that, I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be healthier. You see? So, how you doing? Yeah, one more time, I think the words of Jesus are I call it kicking my consciousness to the curb. Yeah, calling me up to get past my story, any story of limitation, and to say yes. Because folks, again, it's infinite. Have you pulled up your chair to the banquet table? It's just waiting. The infinite abundance is waiting for us to claim. So let's affirm together. I am infinite abundance. I move my feet from this knowing to unfold the desires of my heart. And so it is. Blessings.
And now this is our time to give from our unlimited abundance and open hearts. As you hold your tithes and offerings or your consistent giving card in your hands, here is some prosperity wisdom from Ernest Holmes, found in Science of Mind magazine. As I desire to do only that which is good and constructive, life-giving and life-expressing, I know that I shall prosper in everything I do. Limitless possibilities and infinite good are always what I am. So now let us affirm together our offering blessing. Divine love, I am, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am so grateful.
Sometimes I wonder what it's all about, what we're doing here. I thought by now I'd have it sorted out, and I'd be perfectly clear. Some people seem to have the finest things. Some of us can't get enough. The ones that got it make it look so easy, but for many life is tough. When you want it, really want it, feel it in your heart. First believe it, then you'll see it. That's the way it starts. That's the way it starts. I find that everything I focus on oh, it tends to increase. Sometimes I make my problems grow to where they never seem to cease. But when I think about the things I love, the blessings I've received, I find I got more than I ever thought of, more than I first believed. When you want it, really want it, feel it in your heart. First believe it, then you'll see it. That's the way it starts. That's the way it starts. You got a song to sing and something to give. You got a heart that knows where the love is, where the love is. Of all the things I said I like to have, there's really only one that offers me the kind of certainty can never be undone. I wanna find out who I really am and claim this life that's mine. I wanna realize my destiny right now, not at the end of time. When you want it, really want it, feel it from your heart. First believe it, then you'll see it. That's the way it starts. That's the way it starts. Ooh.
So let's stand and welcome in our youth.
I got me, I got us coming together. I got you, I got me, got us coming together. One heart, one mind, one love coming together.
Please be seated.
Hello, everyone. Today they watched another segment of Lego Batman and learned more about teamwork. And here are the kids have to say.
I'm a powerful channel for endless creativity and wisdom.
No matter what is going on in my life, I know I have the power to make things better.
Stop.
Hey! Hello, and I'm gonna say this now. My ability to conquer my challenges is limitless. My potential to succeed is infinite. And there is infinite cookies in the world. Anybody else?
Let's stand and bless our children. Together, you are the light of the world. Live as the light. Let's join hands and sing our peace song. week blessing your infinite abundance. And also, if you'd like to stay for the informational meeting to hear about our membership bylaws, please do so. We'll start in about 15 minutes. Thank you.